Slytherin, Danger Noodles, Sidewinders, Nope Ropes, Bob Fosse, Simon, Naga, Anthony J. Crowley, Ka. Let's talk about Snakefolk. Snakefolk, or the Yuan-ti, as I believe Chris Perkins pronounces it. I've also seen it. Yuan-ti? Yuan-ti? You want some tea? Tie-dye? Go with Yuan-ti. There's many variations of the Yuan-ti in the D&D universe as there are actual types of snake. They are all obsessed with which house they are from and what kind of weird flavor of snake they tend to be. Flavor of snake? What the hell is the flavor of snake? Floor? I assume snakes have a floor flavor. Maybe dirt. Did I mention that all the houses are spelled with different variations of hissing noises and the occasional apostrophe thrown in there for flavor? Snakefolk can really be broken down into 3 types. I know this is usually where I talk about stats, but because of the way that the Slither boys work, I'm really going to break it down into 3 different parts. Yuanti get a bonus of +1 to their intelligence. That's it. And I know that sounds a little dumb because they're supposed to be super smart. That's the scientific term for snake smarts. Yeah, I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing. Supposed to be very intelligent, but there is a catch. You can diversify this bonus by deciding what type of danger noodle you want to be. Beyond the minor int boon, all Yuan-ti get immunity to poison, advantages to saving throws against magic. They get dark vision, which, super interesting. Probably the most accurate use of dark vision for any PC race. Maybe the drow are up there too, but snakes with dark vision? Yeah, I'm gonna have to give you that one. Let's start getting some snakes in these boots. The first type of Yuan-ti are purebloods. They appear mostly human, only taking on minor snaky traits. What kind of traits, you might ask? I don't know. Maybe you want your character to just have really dry, flaky skin, or want to be able to put things in their mouths that are bigger than their head. That didn't come out right. Actually, in this situation, I guess it kind of did. But they are generally not so much the snake parts. Not that they are not mostly a specific bit of a snake. And as they have the bits in a limited fashion, to reiterate, they are mostly people, they get a bonus to their charisma. That was a bad sentence. We're going to push on. But they are generally not so much the snake part. That is to say, they just don't look like snakes. Not that they are mostly not a specific snake part. Purebloods focus a lot on manipulation and control of the humanoid races. Did I forget to mention that most snake folk focused on controlling the world in one way or the other? I'm not sure if that has something to do with the human condition, or the D&D team growing up just watched the same Disney movies I did with really pushy snakes. No, Kevin, you cannot have hypnotic eyes. Actually, yeah, okay, that's totally fine. Just roll the dice. The second type, half-bloods, very much as the name implies, are half-snake. Kind of snake. Either way, the half-bloods are very much what most media would portray a serpent folk as. This variety of boot-dwelling death machines are usually portrayed as either having snake-like tails, or the heads of snakes, or maybe just large snakes with human arms. Because why not? They're basically just Mr. Potato Heads, but instead of a weird blue shoe and funny nose, you're able to choose between the better half of 2 cowboys and an anaconda. I hope that's not something I'm not aware of. Maybe don't type that into Google. Internet's a big place. The half-bloods are in that sweet spot of being flexible. That makes the previous metaphor even worse. I would base whatever bonus you're going to give them on the type of snake you choose to base it off of. If you want to focus on a bite attack, maybe you give them a dexterity bonus. If you want to be more cunning and devious, maybe just give them a +3 to the intelligence. As a DM, I would say make me an argument and we'll take it from there. And this is where things start to get really interesting. If a Yuan-ti has a human face, they have access to a few spells at will. I've been hard-pressed to see where the real rules are and where the limitations lie. Depending on where you look, they have access to things like darkness, charm person, suggestion, poison spray, animal friendship, and even polymorph. As a DM, using any of these on a monster would be a lot of fun to throw against a party. Even more so if it's a ragtag band of snakes you befriend and then place in a pit so the unknowing adventurers fall into it. I don't know if that was a real sentence or not, but snake pits are a thing, so take it or leave it. As for your players, I would basically say choose 1 or 2 of those things depending on your backstory and your snake type, and keep them snake flavored. Gamey, but maybe a little Tex-Mex. I think giving polymorph to someone at level 1 is a little too intense, but if it's more like beast shape to a snake, I think that could be a lot more fun to work with. The mechanics, not your snake. And that pushes the final variation, the Abomination. They're basically just big snakes with some sort of twisted snake magic. And also people. Basically. Something like a big snake with a human face. That's pure nightmare fuel. Maybe a regular snake, but instead of scales, it's just got human skin. That's worse than the face snake. Maybe a snake with a human hand for a head. You know what? I'm gonna let you all think about whatever you want for that. If you do want to play a 5-tailed snake Abomination, I would argue that you get the magic and the +1 int, just like every other Yuan-ti, but I would probably give you a +2 to strength or constitution as well. You could also play them as a large-sized creature. Snakes get pretty big. Just really go crazy nightmare monster style and chomp up some goblins. I don't know why I keep throwing goblins at things that get eaten. I feel like if you're a monster race, maybe you'd like goblins? Maybe not. Maybe you just eat them anyways. All things considered, I find the Abominations is a little too monstrous for most parties, and Purebloods are basically just humans with snake powers. I mean, you could just go Snake Druid and call it a day, but...
But wait, Rook, don't you want us to play an evil snake monster with a human face?
I mean, you can. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but there is a point where I don't think the average shopkeeper would be willing to deal with an anaconda with a fake mustache glasses trying to rent a horse from them.
But you always say that it would be a good challenge.
Yeah, maybe, but not for every party. Not for most parties. So for the spirit of Snakefolk, I think half-bloods are the sweet spot for the PCs. You get all the sweet, easy stuff like night vision and regular movement speed. If you have a snake tail, you could probably argue that you could easily deal with difficult terrain at a trade-off of max speed, or maybe a bonus speed boost, but you don't like touching cold floors. There's also some discussion about them being psionic in nature, which could explain their natural spell abilities, and why they can naturally suggest and befriend snakes to their aid, which I think could be a really fun element to play with. Aside from that, they don't really have a lot of discussion about actual stats and builds different from any other type of snake or snakefolk. If you do find a cool snakefolk or Yuan-ti or Naga in the monster manual that you like, go ahead and see what their abilities are and just adapt them to your PC race. Most of the lore, the detailing the Yuan-ti, talk about their society having many different houses and many different specialities and focusing on specific types of magic. So I see a lot of possibilities for players to come up with their own flavor and style for their race. An amuse-bouche of boot leather or a light peppering of dusty trail. It's a fancy word for dirt flavoring. I really like the idea of constructing based snake characters? What? Of a construction based. I autocorrected that wrong. I really like the idea of a constriction based snake character. Nailed it. Maybe a barbarian that gains a constriction bonus for damage on grapple attacks, or a rogue that specializes in spitting acid or poison at people. Bard who focuses on illusion and seeding deceit in the ears of their enemies, all while playing a bardic performance with their rattle tail. Tail rattle? I don't know, it's shaky butt bits. You could also work with a flavor of Medusa-based characters or Gorgons, depending on your proclivity to homebrew, but that could really be its own video, so we'll talk about that some other time. Snakefolk have a wide range of possibility, and they've been in every edition of D&D, as well as are found all over the globe in different societies and variations. So if you're in the mood to spook some horses, or you just can't tell the difference between an elephant and a hat, the Yuan-ti might be right for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't clack that subscribe button, go ahead and get that going. Go ahead and get that going. Ooh, that's a sentence. Thank you all for watching. I don't know why I have an accent now. Too many Sidewinder jokes. Clicking the like button and sharing this video is a huge help for making this channel grow. The daily live streams have been ramping up and the Discord is thriving. If you're not a member yet and you want to come check that out, the link is in the comments below. Our Patreon is also growing as well, and we're currently building a stockpile of stickers and artwork to share with our patrons. As always, if you have a cool Yuan-ti story, or you think I pronounced that wrong, because I probably did, you can leave that down in the comments below, or you can join the server. Share your artwork, share your comments, share your character stories, maybe even get one of your characters drawn. Remember to keep your dice on the table and the snakes out of your bosoms. Can I say that on YouTube? No, not a literal snake. Why would you? It's nothing like keeping a cell phone in your bra. How is a bra nature's pocket? At this point, it's just a pocket. Snakes. Wait, no, they're not Pokemon.